Which ones do you see?
Yeah, these right here, the small grades. They have a little
Had a mouth?
mouth.
How do they breathe?
They have nostrils, but they don't.
Do they breathe oxygen?
Yes, they can breathe oxygen. The atmosphere on their planet is very similar, but it's a binary star system, so they have like 2 suns, and which makes the air a lot drier. Their skin is their bones are more fragile than ours. But they kind of.
So I can fucking.
They kind of look like that.
They don't want to fuck.
What's their body look like?
Their bodies, well, I've only seen.
Do they walk around naked? Do they wear clothes? What do they do?
Yeah, the chicks have boobs.
How do they
On their home planet. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. Now, see, they didn't. I'm reading this that exchange program that Steven Spielberg explained at the end of Close Encounters of the Third Kind was really close to the.
Draw a female up there because I want to see if I fuck it.
Well, I don't know.
The results strongly support that these beings are not closely related to any known organism on Earth.
Professor Korotkov and his team have discovered that the strange creature is female.
Skin, it looks kind of like a lizard skin, and we're going to be taking samples in the next few minutes.
These CT tomographies used a special program that allowed a more detailed examination of each layer of the bodies in a precise way that would be able to isolate certain areas for better examination.
Both Maria, big one, and very important, Josephina, little creature. If we talk about Maria, she is human-like. First of all, details of her skull. Second, of course, fingers and toes. So on the skull, we see that she has no ears. Of course, it is elongated skull, maybe not as elongated as we can see in Paracas. And then we see some parts of particle that may be related to blood. The most interesting for all of us was analysis of small bodies. And we had CT scans of 2 bodies, and now we know that those are male and female. And we had a high resolution analysis of one of them. Their anatomy construction is totally different from ours. No human beings, no animals have type of bones as they have. Construction of their ribs is again totally different from any living creatures. Because for all living creatures we have this central bone. Their ribs are rounded and they have no this internal part. Absolutely different construction of skull. And, of course, fingers and toes. They don't have mouths as we do. Then, totally different construction of ears. They had ears, just holes. They had some holes on their skull that no living creatures have. And, of course, detailed analysis in tomography allowed to see that it's not construction, that it's one subject. So it's clear that it's not composed of different parts, it's one and the same subject. From the very beginning, from the first X-ray, we've seen some rounded subjects in the belly of Josephina. But when we had this detailed CT scan, Professor Galsky was able to make like a slides on the image of those eggs. And he demonstrated that those are real eggs because they have some cover, like any egg. They have some inside content, and inside he was able to detect the fetus of some creature.
Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. DNA samples were extracted from the body, feet, and hands. The DNA was tested to determine if it matched any known DNA. The results are in.
From the DNA samples of the mummy now known as Maria, we were able to identify that this is a woman, as the Y chromosome is missing.
Carbon dating suggested that she was somewhere around 1700 years old. We also tested the white powder that covered her body, and this test revealed it was diatomaceous earth.
One of the labs that we sent a sample to for carbon-14 dating came back, and the results were anywhere from 245 AD to 410 AD.
Very important, it was proven that it's same material, it is same chemical composition, it's same DNA. So we have no doubts now that 3 fingers, 3 toes, it belongs to this body.
The DNA results would not at all support the idea that these were human remains that were altered. There's no support to conclude that it's a host.
The skull, I don't see any suture lines, no bones that are separate in the skull. They all appear fused.
Smaller bodies have also been discovered. Victoria was carbon dated to be from 987 AD to 1145 AD, which makes her 700 years younger than Maria.
We're bearing what resembles ribs almost all the way down, which is more reptilian in a way. If you think about a snake, it's got rib-like structures all the way down its entire body.
From CAT scan, it is clear that all internal organs was intact.
We are scientifically proving that this body is a real body that was once alive. For example, the skull with remains of brain mass. This part here shows the lungs at the side. This is the heart with the bronchus and the great vessels, lungs at both sides. This is still the heart, and here are the 4 cavities, and the bronchi that are preserved with the shape of the respiratory system. Now we are in the abdominal cavity. The lines are part of the intestines and relate to the structures that build the abdomen. It is completely harmonious.
The team examines a new body recovered from the tomb. It appears to be a baby, and they have named this one Wawita, which means baby in the Quechua language. The team focuses on 3 new bodies that were discovered in the same location.
3 bodies that are called the family because it seems that there are 2 adults and 1 younger one. And the other, which is completely different and looks more like a reptile.
This metal piece is embedded in the chest.
It would be difficult to imagine how someone 1,000 years ago could have masterminded such an elaborate hoax.